Shut the up. I don't give a fuck, dude. Look at this. Look at this. He's fighting a professional boxer. Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it.
Joe Rogan just went off on Jake Paul after Jake pulled the plug on his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. Yep, you heard that right. The highly anticipated clash of the eras is going up in smoke thanks to Jake. And of course, Jake being Jake, he's walking around like he's still king of the world, acting like canceling fights whenever he wants is no big deal. Seriously, the guy pulls out of the biggest fight of his career like it's just another day at the office. But this time, Joe Rogan has had enough canceling on a legend like Mike Tyson. That's something Joe's not going to let slide. Joe doesn't mess around when it comes to respecting the sport and its icons, and Jake just crossed a line he can't. Uncross Rogan delivered an absolute verbal smackdown on Jake, and man, he didn't hold back. Joe's like, look, you can be an influencer, a YouTuber, whatever, but when you step into the ring with a legend, you better respect the game. And guess what? Jake's out here looking like the biggest villain in fight game right now. The hype for Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was reaching fever pitch. We're talking about one of the biggest fights in combat sports history, especially after that heated press conference on August 18th, 2024 in New York City. If you missed it, you missed some serious fireworks. Mike Tyson looked like he was ready to eat Jake alive, and Jake, well, he was doing what he does best, talking smack and hyping himself up like he was untouchable. The tension was through the roof. Fans were going crazy. Tickets were selling out faster than concert seats, and everyone was placing their bets. People were picking sides, and the whole fight world was buzzing. Then, out of nowhere, Jake drops a bombshell. The fight is off. All that hype, all the talk, all the build-up, and Jake just pulls the plug. Looks like our guy got a case of the pre-fight jitters, and honestly, who wouldn't? We're talking about stepping into the ring with Mike Tyson, the man who literally bit off a dude's ear before. That's not your average Sunday workout. The psychological toll of facing Tyson, knowing he has decades of destruction behind him, can shake anyone up, even someone as confident as Jake Paul. But here's the thing, the fight world did not take this lightly. Fans are feeling majorly let down, and you know Joe Rogan wasn't about to stay quiet.
Of Mike Tyson closing the distance. This Mike Tyson, as fast as he was, as hard as he hits, I maintain he's the greatest.
Yeah,
the greatest heavyweight.
Joe's been calling Jake out for acting like he's the one making the rules. Rogan's message was clear. Hold up. You can't just cancel on a great like Mike Tyson and act like it's no big deal. Joe knows how big this fight was for the sport and for the fans. The fact that Jake pulled out has everyone questioning what's really going on. Was he scared? Was he not ready? Whatever the case, Joe is putting Jake on blast for letting everyone down. And honestly, can you blame him? Fans were ready for an all-time classic fight, and Jake pulled the rug out from under them. Rogan's been vocal about Tyson's legacy, even saying it was just a matter of Mike Tyson closing the distance. This Mike Tyson, as fast as he was, as hard as he hits, I maintain he's the greatest. Yeah, I mean the greatest heavyweight ever. Joe's right. Canceling a fight with Tyson isn't just about walking away from a payday. It's about disrespecting the sport and the fans. Jake may have thought he could pull this off without consequences, but with Rogan, the fans, and the entire fight will coming down on him, this might be one career move Jake's going to regret.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, like gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this.
If you're not familiar with Joe Rogan's bond with Mike Tyson, let me break it down real quick. Joe is basically Tyson's #1 fan, LA, president of the unofficial Mike Tyson fan club. Every time Joe brings up Tyson on his podcast, you can see the admiration all over his face. We're talking about a guy who's been in combat sports for decades, who's seen it all. It still treats Tyson like a living legend, and for good reason. Mike is a living legend. Honestly, Joe probably has a picture of Mike Tyson on his wall at home. So when Jake Paul, the internet sensation and self-proclaimed problem child, pulls plug on the fight of a lifetime with Tyson, Joe's not having it. Mike Tyson is an absolute beast, even at 58. Let's not forget Mike was gearing up for this fight like a rookie, ready for his start. Seriously, the man was training like there was no tomorrow. Explosive combos, lightning fast footwork, and that signature Tyson head movement. He still has it, the power, the precision, everything. Tyson's jab is as sharp as ever. His hooks are brutal, and that famous uppercut, a fight ender. If it hits, he might be pushing 60, but trust me, his punching power hasn't aged today.
Mike Tyson from Marvis Frazier fought Jake Paul. Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not gonna.
His speed and strength would still give any box of nightmares. His work on the heavy bag is straight up frightening. Jake might have thought he was going into the ring with an old man, but Mike was out here training like it was 1986 all over again.
Harry Holmes, I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks.
Joe Rogan knows this better than anyone. As Joe put it, if that Mike Tyson from Marvis Frazier fought Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not going to make it. For years, Joe Rogan has been hyping up Mike Tyson as one of the scariest fighters in history. There was a time when people were literally terrified to step into the ring with Mike, and that aura hasn't faded. So when Jake Paul canceled his fight with it, felt like he was tarnishing the legacy of a man who revolutionized heavyweight boxing. And trust me, Joe Rogan wasn't about to let that disrespect go unchecked on his podcast. Joe finally spoke out, and let me tell you, it was savage. He basically called Jake out for not being a real fighter, for not having the heart at legends like Tyson have.
West of Sylvan, this is what you... Oh! Shove a knockdown by Paul!
Joe said that when you sign up to fight, especially against someone like Mike, you need to show respect and be all in, no second guessing, no cancellations, just pure dedication to the sport. Mike Tyson's the best heavyweight of all time, Joe said. I don't think anyone expletive with him, and that's the thing about Joe Rogan. When he speaks the entire combat sports will listen. He's more than just a podcast host. He's the voice of combat sports. This man has been calling UFC fights for years, breaking down some of the craziest moments in fighting history. So when Joe says you're messing up in the fight game, you better believe he's right. Rogan's got a big following in the fighting community, whether it's MMA, boxing, or straight up martial arts. Joe's opinion matters. He's trained with some of the best whole black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Taekwondo, and has been in the fight game long enough to know what separates a true fighter from someone just looking for clout. And right now, Joe's seeing Jake Paul is more of a clout chaser than a real fighter. Sure, Jake has made waves in the boxing scene, but canceling on a fight with Mike Tyson, that's just not something you do if you want to be taken seriously. Joe made it clear, if Jake wants to be a genuine boxer, he's got to stop dodging real challenges. Joe Dan hold back, saying, Jake, if you're serious about fighting, you fight Mike Tyson. No questions, no excuses. You don't back out when things get tough. And honestly, he's got a point. Mike's ready. Mike's hungry. And even though he's older, he's still a force to be reckoned with.
Challenged by someone who's a guy like a Jake Paul. Does that piss you off? Is it part of it?
But Jake dipped out before the fight could even happen. When you get challenged by someone like a guy like Jake Paul, does that piss you off, Joe? Question for Rogan, who's basically seen and done it all in the fight world. This was a huge letdown. He's a guy who respects the grind, who respects the grind, who respects the grind, the sport, and who respects legends like Tyson. So when Jake cancels, it's not just a business decision, it's a slap in the face to the entire fight community. Joe's got mad respect for fighters who take chances. We're talking about guys like Israel Adesanya, John Jones, Kamaru Usman, people who never back down from a task. To him, Jake bailing on this fight is a sign that maybe, just maybe, Jake isn't cut from that same cloth. Plus, let's not forget Mike Tyson isn't just any opponent. He's one of the best heavyweights of all time. Jake had the chance to step into the ring with a legend. A fight with Tyson could have elevated Jake's career to new heights, but instead Jake canceled, leaving Joe Rogan and basically the entire combat sports world wondering what's next. Jake built his brand on being the problem child, but let's be real, if you want to be respected in the boxing world, you got to fight the fights that matter, and this fight, it mattered. Mike Tyson is a name that holds weight in every part of the sports world, and canceling on him, that's a problem even Jake can't escape. Joe made it clear Jake's move to cancel on Tyson was a big mistake. Joe's always been about appreciating the sport, and this whole situation just shows how different he and Jake really are. Rogan comes from a place of pure love for combat sports, and when he sees someone like Jake treating it like a sideshow, he's not going to stay quiet. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. Will Jake ever live this down? Can he bounce back after letting down the fight world? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Joe Rogan is not giving Jake a free pass. So there you have it, fight fans. What are your thoughts on Jake Paul getting terminated by Joe Rogan? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.